All right, the record button is on, and I just want to go back to that yesterday's trade here. I moved my stop loss up on this trade just before the news, right at that high, and as you can see, where price was and where our exit was, that difference there was about the 3 pip, 4 pip spread, and it just hit the spread dead on, and then continued to give us the take profit we were looking for, which was 40 pips down here. So
Wow.
good news was that the trade analysis was right. Looking at our indicators, everything about the entry was dead on. But I moved my stop from here down to here just before the news. And the news didn't have much of a dramatic push, but it sure came and hit me right to the pip and kept going. So that was a trade that I could have managed better. But based on how I normally do things, that's about where I would put my stop. But these spreads are definitely a bit wider than I uh, am accustomed to. I don't mind the 2 or 3 pip spread. That's pretty reasonable. But you see here the spreads here can dramatically change. Uh, oh boy. Okay, so let's make this pound dollar a 5 minute chart. I just want to see if there are any ranges or anything in here. That's a nice range right there. That's a nice area. And it appears that the number, at least the whisper numbers, are saying that the number for the dollar is going to be pretty good, or should be good. We got a bit of a downtrend here, and what time is it? 8:24. It's 5 minutes to. Um, some people generally trade into the news, which is something I won't do. Uh, no, I take that back. Sometimes I do trade into the news, but this setup right now, this 18 needs to be under here, under the 89. Then I would take a trade into it. This dollar yen doesn't look bad. Pound CAD's been busy. Let's take a look at pound Aussie. Wow, the pound's taking a beating.
Yeah. Last night I put on a daily trade in the pound yen short. It didn't hit. It's not even close yet. But thinking about just leaving that on. The, the daily had railroad tracks.
Oh, okay. I took this pound dollar short here. I didn't hear it make that confirmation. That's all right. I'm gonna let this run, and let me put my stop up here, and that's about 11 pips. And what am I looking at with a spread? That's 2.5. So I'm gonna come up here to about 15 with the stop, and let that run into the news. Now, what we did last time was we did a straddle last month and got triggered both ways. And then once we had the direction, we pulled one side off and then let that loss sit there. And then the other side ran the rest of the day and gave it all back to us. Let me fix this. Window. Uh, and I don't see a good area here for a straddle. The charts are not conducive at the moment. Um, and I don't have my script in here, do I? No, I don't. And let me see, do I have the, where's the experts folder? I don't have my box indicator in here either. And how wide is this? That's a 20 pip box. That's actually not bad. All right, so I've got a couple of minutes here. And I want to put a short at 1.55055. That's easy enough to remember. One order, pending, sell stop at 1.55055. 1.55055. Place. Okay, that worked perfectly that time. And I want to put a buy stop at 1.55255. All right, so new order. Pending buy stop 1.55255. 1.55255. Place. All right, so we're pretty much ready for that. We may get triggered both ways at the announcement, but that 20 pip range, that's not bad at all. That'll take in a pretty decent spike. There we go. And we're long. And get my close order ready. Let's open this up. Oh, what the hell happened here? What the hell happened here? Where did my order go? Spread is 7, but I didn't have a stop in, and we didn't tag the bottom yet.
Yeah. 10, 9, 8 and all that stuff.
What's that?
Countdown, 5 seconds.
The maximum the spread went was 17. All right. Well, I'm triggered on the other side. That didn't make any sense whatsoever. But we should get it back on this side. And I'm guessing that the news is good for the dollar.
So the pound dollar is the only one you straddled?
Yeah.
Huh.
All right. Well, I got that 12 pip loss back, so I can't complain about that. But that was a bit bizarre, but the spread did go to 17.
Wow, I gotta figure this out. Your platform didn't freeze up. Both of mine did. Still frozen.
And my spread right now is 2 and change, so I want to bring my stop up here to lock in like 5 pips. Oh, I got to close this. Just make this a free trade. At the very least, I'll get... doo-doo. Why won't this thing... Boy, this not cooperating. Well, the spread jumped. Okay, I'm going to lock in 10.
Lou, you're making your take profit 10 right now. You gotta hit this, bring the stop loss down.
I don't have a stop loss in. Oh, there it is. I'm sorry. I'm watching too many things at one time. You're right. Let me bring this down here. I can't see the digit, but I'll lock in like 5 or 6 of it there, whatever that is. I'll take it. So now it's basically a free trade. But that weird thing that happened on the first run up, we were triggered long, but what happened was the spread went to 17. So when it came back like to about the center here with a 17 pip spread, it took me out. Let's get the close order up. And I didn't look at the news, but I assume it was good for the dollar. That's what a lot of people were saying during the evening.
Yeah, basically it came out right as expected.
All right, so we made a little money on it. All right, we'll go back in for another trade in a minute.
Unemployment rate
Oh,
is
let me
still
go down to 1 minute. I'm sorry.
5.3.
All right, so I'm going to take this. I'm going to look for something in here.
I don't get it. I'm still frozen on both platforms.
Yeah. Did anyone see the number?
Yeah, it's like Phil said, it's about the same as it was.
Oh, okay.
Employment was down a wee bit.
Okay, let me go back to the 5. I don't want to put a 25 pip spread. A little bit rushed this morning. My new amulet was a couple of minutes later than I expected. Okay, so while we're watching that, I'll close this. Let's just see what the other pairs did. Let's see what the yen did. Well, it did the same thing. So that, and there the spike, the spread went to 14. And pound CAD went to 35, 25, and 35. That's, ooh, glad I didn't go anywhere near there.
Yeah, you'd have a great sell before the thing and forget about it.
Yeah, that first buy threw me though because we were up pretty good and it came back a bit and I didn't realize the spread went to 17 in a heartbeat. And they're waiting for the revisions now, I would imagine. And they're looking at the wage numbers. Waiting for all this to settle down a bit. I didn't put a stop in. Let me just put up a stop so I can adjust this later. when it dances this fast, it's hard to get out at your number
Huh.
because in one click, it could be a $40, $50 difference, one tick rather, depending on the volume at the moment. Let's go take a look at some of the other pairs. We'll use this one for the guinea pig. The dollar CAD. Pretty much same thing. Dollar CAD didn't have that huge wick. They stopped right there. They made up their mind. That's where they wanted to stop. Aussie dollar. Very similar to pound dollar.
And the dollar CAD, that whole move was before the news.
Let's just go back to dollar CAD.
Yeah. I mean, so.
Well, that's the 830 candle. That is the news candle.
Yeah. But you see the one just before that.
Yeah.
It's the same place. That's what I'm saying.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I mean, all that move down south happened before the news, and then
it was probably a fake out of some kind.
Yeah, and so, anyways, Kim Krumpus calls that a civil move, but it's only going one direction with the news.
Right. Well, that's what happens in London most of the time.
Does it?
Yeah, you don't get that wild spike in London. You know, if it's going to go short, it just goes short. And you don't get the wild changes in spreads. I mean, this is a purely an American phenomenon, this whole thing with the spreads.
Well, Michael has failed me so far as getting my room ready so I can trade the London session over there. But so I guess it's up to you, Nancy. Oh, no response.
Oh, is Nancy there? Hey, Nancy, how are you? Are you planning on visiting Nancy to do some trading?
Well, I'm hoping she'll get me a room ready there.
And that wouldn't be a bad thing at all. I've got a couple of invitations to come to Greece.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, because the market there, I think it's like in the middle of the afternoon or some weird thing.
Yeah. Well, I mean should be the same as European time.
Okay, so let's look at any of the other dollar pairs and just see. We did New Zealand dollar, same sort of thing. All right, so nothing really dramatic here. We go out to the. I got these lines in the way. Delete. And this is coming back up pretty hard here.
Yeah.
So we're in basically a downtrend on a higher time frame was really what I wanted to see. There isn't any reason for that to. I think I'm going to get hit again. Oh, you son of a gun. That's the wrong one. I didn't trade this live today. That's not what I want.
How does this work? The CAD numbers were actually as expected or better. Dollar numbers were, pretty much as expected, and the CAD tanked and the dollar shot for the moon temporarily.
Now, next week with the trading, I'm going to trade a lot of what I see. All right. And not so much a particular system because I need to make some money back in my account and I may have to take the following week off. So I'm going to be kind of locked in on just the live trades next week.
Okay.
So it won't be too much stuff about lessons and all that, or the other stuff that we talk about. I really need to lock in on trading and get my other account back up. I'm just going to put my trade copier back on. I took it off because I want to tie it to the other broker.
Hey, that sounds good, Lou. I mean, even if there's moments where you feel like you can't explain everything, just as long as we have it recorded, we can always go back and then review what you were thinking at that moment or whatever.
Yeah, exactly. And I think it was either Tony or Mike mentioned it, and I try to really stick with one thing at a time because, as I said, because I see certain things with my eyes doesn't mean that you'll see it. It may be hard to justify on the fly as we're trading. So I'm just gonna, just do my thing and just chit chat because there are times where I will see like this price trap. I'll set it up, or I'll see a twin tower. I'll set it up. But when we're doing the lessons, I mean, if we're only doing the sessions, I should say, if we're only doing the 1889, then that's all I want to focus on at the moment, just to get that under your belt. Because I've got a couple of other students that have been killing it with the 1889, but they're sitting by themselves. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's a happy thing to see, but also at the same time kind of a frustrating thing to see because they're making more money with it than I am at the moment.
Mm.
So it's like not a catch 22, but it's just one of those things, and it happens.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm interested to watch you do that too. I mean, about a month ago, Neil was explaining how he trades the pound yen, and I mean he's in all the time.
Yeah, and I don't have that much time to sit at the computer. I've got this 2.5 hours that I do. I'm going to take this short. I've got that 2.5 hours, that we do, or hour and a half that we do from 8:30 to 10, and then I've got this whole cadre of stuff that I have to get to.
Yeah.
And I see that Neo, by looking at some of the posts in some of the other rooms, some of the guys have an enormous amount of time to spend looking at charts, and I don't have that.
Mm-hmm.
So I have to learn how to assess what the chart looks like right now, and then try to make something off of that, or set myself up for a trade later on. So it's a little different, and I like that 8:30 to 10 because the news is done and over with, and you can catch very, very comfortable moves there with low stress. Let me just don't need to see that at the moment. So this is just an exercise. I wanted to put straddles in on a couple of pairs, but as I said, I had to wait for this amulet to get here. And it's a new company. They're very, very nice, but they're not as on time. The other company would always be on time, or they wouldn't show up. So it's either one or the other. They say 8:05. I'm telling you, 8:04. I see him turn into the cul-de-sac. Or they just don't show up and don't call, which would got to be a pain in the ass. So then I'd have to stop what I'm doing, jump in the car, and take her to therapy. And while with these guys, they never miss a day. They call the night before to confirm and all that. They do all that stuff right. But there's like a 20-minute window with them. So if they say we'll be there 8 o'clock, that could be in anywhere from 7:55 to 8:20. So that's the only catch with them. Any questions anybody have about anything that we went through? I will be trading a larger lot size. Um, I figured out how to make the adjustment on the copier, which was um, important. Oh, I have to check this other account. I forgot about that. Let me just see if we got any trades on that one. Let's close this. Oh, oh, I got one trade. Oh, I got the swap. That sucks. We're running a robot on another broker, an arbitrage robot. All right, so now we're right back to the crawl again after all the excitement. Let me put a stop up here, right at that high. Those spreads this week just really, I mean, 3 times right to the exact amount of the spread. Almost had me wondering if they were doing that whole stop hunt thing again. I got a little paranoid. But the trade analysis was good. Now, the reason I took this was because of the Twin Tower, and I'm under the 18, under the 89. So that's why I took this. I don't know if I even said that before.
I don't think you did, but yeah, thanks for pointing that out. Speaking of that, yesterday one of the questions I had on the Twin Tower, before when you were talking about that a lot, didn't you say that you prefer those at a high or a low?
Well, location is always a key thing. So if you see a Twin Tower, I like to look back uh, farther back in the chart to see if there's some reason for it.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So if I look at this spot here on this Twin Tower, I've got all this stuff right here. You see that? I've got that whole thing going on. Oh, let me open it up so you can see. I got like a nice little shelf here, right at that high. If I follow that high back, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 candles all tapping that one area. So when it made the Twin Tower, and again, I did this on binaries, usually that next candle will go in my direction. And on a binary, it's a nice winner. But I like them on these charts also.
Yeah, so I kind of read that as all of the bulls gave up the ghost because finally the stops were kind of taken out.
The stops where?
Well, at that shelf there. So in other
here.
words, yeah. So in other words, as those stops were taken out below there, then there's not as much interest in longing this pair.
All right. And I need to give myself a day just to kind of decompress a bit. Sometimes when you have things like that happen, you need to take a step back. This Euro Aussie is this is pound dollar. I kind of like that. And we're basically back to the crawl.
news until 9, and we have a CAD red news.
At 9 a.m.
Or 10, excuse me.
Oh, 10. Okay.
Did you hear back from the place on Wall Street there?
And I'll talk to them over the. Oh, god damn! Invalid prices again. Off quotes. Okay. This broker's coming off my list. They're an offshore broker, but they will accept American clients.
Oh,
Forex Broker Inc. But when I start getting off quotes and all that, if you know, because I had this tied to my live accounts, and lately I'm getting too many of these off quotes and all this other stuff, even after our sessions, because I still trade. I try to catch something in London after I take care of my normal business. I try to catch London close,
mm-hmm.
and that's been pretty good. But you know, when I start getting these off quotes and everything, I mean, it affects my real money too.
So Forex Brokers Inc. is who bailed out FXCM.
Well, they have a couple of demos. No, what happened was I have this tied to two FXCM accounts. Let me see if I can get into this Euro Aussie trade.
Oh, I see. On another platform or something.
Right. So I tied in. Damn, again with the off quotes. See that? And I know I'm right about this entry, and it won't give it to me. Oh boy, that sucks. So I've been experimenting with brokers because I what I miss more than anything else is being able to run a trade all the way down. Um, and by that I mean if I'm in a let me just go find another. I'll use this one. Let's say if I'm in a 1 hour. All right. Well, right now we're in a big price trap from here to here. See that? But normally, if I'm in like something like this, and forget the indicators, but if I'm in like a bit of an uptrend, I'll try to get in on this price trap break and ride it up. But then that's on a 1 hour. But then I go down to a lower time frame. Then I start picking it apart with scalps in the same direction. But with FIFO, you can't do it. And I missed that because that was just a nice moneymaker because the higher time frame patterns tend to work a bit better. Um, so there's certain things in my live trading that I miss that you know I can't take advantage of. New Zealand dollar was another nice trade. Didn't catch it though. This Euro Aussie. So you know I get spooked. If I get two or three off quotes or something like that, I'll bail on the trade. Or if I still believe in it, I'll just cut the lot size down because I think something bizarre might be going on behind the scenes.
Mm-hmm.
So the 5 pips has been, you know, pretty easy these last few days. I just wanted to ride this 18 for a few trades and, you know, have my stops a bit tight. Maybe I should stop saying that. I don't see anything else. It's the only one that I see that I like is this one.
Euro odd.
I tried to get in it 4 or 5 times and couldn't. So here's our 5 pips for that other thing we were doing. But you know, I'm shooting for longer runs right now. Pound CAD's moving pretty nicely. That didn't have much of a pullback. Oh, it had a 34 pip. Yeah, the spread went to 34 pips. So yeah, this chart isn't as nice as it looks. This is nice coming out of this consolidation like this. If price behaves itself, we should get 2 or 3 more candles like this one. Slide the stop up a little bit. This New Zealand dollar is really taking a tank. But, you know, we didn't get on it. Yeah, so we're up 10 plus here. I'd like to let this candle finish and then let the next candle trade below the low of this one, then move my stop loss up. You follow me?
Yeah.
At the finish of this candle, let the next candle start, let it make the upper wick, and then chase it down. And I'm going to try to trail this 18 a bit. So I like to let, now this close below these lows, which is key. So we'll let this do its upper wick thingy. This pullback should stop right in here somewhere. Split the difference a bit. Got to ask Tony if he can put together that indicator we were talking about. I want to build one indicator that will do daily, monthly, and weekly high, low, open, and close, daily, monthly, and weekly pivots with R1, S1, and all that. The cosmetics is what will take a lot of time. You know, some people don't want that many horizontal lines across the chart.
It's a mess.
Yeah, so, but, you know, what you could do is you can, you know, have a short line like that, you know, to represent like monthly levels. You get me? Instead of having it go all the way across the chart, and then you can have the pivots go all the way across if you want. Or that's the part that's tricky, is the cosmetics.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Because the math is, I'm not a programmer, but I'm just guessing that the math would be relatively simple. You just take old formulas and do it. And you see how we hit that area? And this is starting to creep back a bit.
If you look at that one that I posted yesterday.
The indicator you posted?
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't get a chance to. That's my Saturday morning and Sunday morning stuff.
Okay. Because that does, I don't know if it has pivots, but it does everything else.
And you see, this is where it took me a long time to kind of develop the gonads to sit in a trade and watch it be up as much as 15 and go back and only be up 3. Just, you know, watching price action. So it you know, makes you less scared, you know, for certain things.
Mm.
And then understanding price action, I had a good reason to expect that this would stall here, but the candle's not done yet. We don't know. Who's making popcorn back there, by the way?
Yeah, that would be me. Well, it's the same kind of setup as the pound dollar, but it's a euro dollar.
Oh, let's take a look at euro. Because this is the time when I start cranking up for Christmas money. That's the other thing, that I have certain times of the year where I need to crank a little bit more.
Mm. Thanks for reminding me. Did you get my Christmas list yet?
No, I didn't.
Oh, okay. I'll resend it.
Okay, that would be helpful. So, what was I saying? Yeah, so in my real life dealings, I have to look at, my life situations, and I can try to structure trading around my needs and, what I want to accomplish as far as dollars and cents and all that.
Mm-hmm.
And ideally, um, by October 1st, I've got all my Christmas money. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And I start a spreadsheet, usually the middle of August or September, and start to crank it. And I go out to higher time frames. I go out to a 15-minute chart, which means, I won't get that many trades at the time I'm sitting there, but I look over more pairs. Okay, so we got one of those slingshot candles, close closer to its high than it did to its low. This would be where you would add into the trade if you're doing, price action trading. You're still below the 18, still below the 89, yada, yada, yada. Now, this stopped right at that bottom there, but we'll see what happens. But again, understanding price action, you see how we drew this box way ahead of time? And price came right to it and turned around as we expected. And this was probably 5 or 6 pips in here, or 10 pips in the bounce. So having a bead on price action and thinking ahead of the trade is always helpful.
Yeah, the point at which it stopped has been a floor for the last like 5 days or so. If you go out to a larger time frame,
Okay, let me,
Kimberly White's having a little trouble breaking through that point.
right here. Oh yeah, I see that, yeah. And here.
Yeah, no, go out even further, like a 4 hour.
I am in 4. Let's squeeze in some more. So I'm looking at this shelf here.
No, that was good. I just wanted to show you the other point.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay, okay. Go back to a 5 and so if this were one of those regular scalps, I'd be out of here already with like the 5 or 10, but I'm riding the 18, and that means I'm going to see this thing go up and down and up and down, and create a little bit of agita. 2.5 pip spread. Let me slide this up a little more. I'll come right here to that shelf. Oh, just the other thing I wanted to do is let's go out to a 15. Squeeze this in a bit. where that's only 6 pips to that level. Let's go on a little higher. I just want to see if there's another level here. Oh, it's the same thing. All right, so this was a 60 pip candle, so I'll take half of that and use it as a guide. And what I want to do now is bring my take profit down here to 30 pips, take half of that candle length. And then I'll ride the 18 out until it gets down here, hopefully. You understand what I did there, right?
Mm. Yeah. Yeah, you said half of the 50.
Yeah, now because what happens normally when you get a let me open this up a little bit. Like when you get a thrust up, across here. Like this thrust up was about 6 pips. Okay, the next thrust up was 7, so that's pretty even, Steven. You get me? Next thrust up was about 5, so you're saying like about a 6 pip chunk in this case. So the same thing in any move. Because this was news, I'm not expecting another single 60 pip candle, but I wouldn't be surprised to see at least half of that on this second leg down. So that's why I took half of this unusual candle and then made that my take profit. And that's not an outlandish take profit. If you look at, what we came out of, we had this big consolidation here. This is the first leg down, pull back, and now we're in the middle of the second leg down. So that's what I'm looking at there. And we got these 3 little candles here, so someone may be trying to dump a large position. We don't know where this one's going to close, but you'll get those 3 and then price will turn around. But we'll see.
So you're saying somebody's covering their short?
Could be.
Yeah.
At least in stocks, I know that's what happens a lot. Someone dumps a pretty good size mark there. Oh, how much was this pullback? That was, see, this is like a 30 pip pullback. So that, picking a half is, that's usually what I'll do on a news candle anyway. Nothing here, nothing here. Let's take a look at the dailies. Okay. So on this daily, let me put a 21 in here. Oh, this is going to give me that thing again, I bet. Oh, no, give me moving average this time. Good. So on this daily, we would not have triggered a daily trade yet, but you see that we've got this close below. And right below there would be a decent trade, and that's 130 pips. That's what I was looking for. I guess it's on the daily chart. I was looking for that level out there in the distance. Go ahead. What were we going to say?
One day you were talking about like bars, I guess, kind of similar to that yesterday's daily bar. And did you say something about when you have a pullback like that on the bottom?
Wait, let me give you control because I don't know what you're trying to.
I know, for me, English is a second language. Okay, so anyway, so here's yesterday's bar,
Yeah.
prior candle, and the low was way down here, it closed way back up here. Weren't you talking about taking a buy near the close because you're probably going to get further pullback?
That's aggressive, but I would want to keep the take profit if you don't. I mean the stop loss if you don't go to the high of the candle, at least higher than the 50% level. Is that what you were getting at?
Well, yeah, but I didn't understand what you said about the stop loss.
Well, if you want to take this entry right here at the open of the new day,
right?
All right, because you've got like a nice slope now. You've clearly closed below your 18 or whatever. You would, if you don't want to put your stop out there at 120 something pips, I would at least put it slightly higher than halfway, only because on the pullback on this candle, you see, you want to stay outside of that 50% pullback.
Mm-hmm.
Because remember that next candle is going to make an upper wick in a down market, and that's what it did. It made the upper wick overnight. Now it's creeping down. And
yeah, go ahead.
And it's still not. This is not like an A trade, like a real, good A trade. You like to have the inside bar, like this one, this inverted hammer here.
Mm-hmm.
You follow me? That's an A trade, that inside bar, and that's why you'd want to look at a bunch of pairs. Here's another one, inside bar, this doji. You want to go right below the doji, and then your stop out there. Here's another inside bar right here. Could have been stopped there. Depends on how much was this? Almost 50 pips, which is the number I like. And here's another inside bar. So that's the A trade that you're looking for, is this inside bar. Now these other bars here, depending on where they are in relation to the 18, a lot of them can be quite good also.
So, okay, well, thanks for that. Actually, my question involved, okay, on this daily here.
Right.
Okay, so it closes here. Now since it's got the big wick on the bottom, or good sized wick. Weren't you talking about taking a trade? Oh crap! Did I move your stop loss?
No.
Oh, okay. Weren't you talking about perhaps the close of this day taking a long to get part of this retrace?
Oh, yes, the scalp, yes.
Yeah, okay.
I'm sorry, you didn't mention taking the counter trend. Now I totally understand. Yes, you could.
Yeah, and maybe, well, that bar I think was pretty big, 150, 200 pips, so maybe just trying to get maybe 20, 30 pips.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely nothing wrong with that. Okay, who is this now? First thing in the morning. Oh, let me take this real quick. Good morning. How are you, Vin? I'm okay. I'm in the middle of a class at the moment. Can I call you back a little later? Okay, I'll call you after 10. I'll be done after 10. All right, you well. Bye-bye. Okay, that's a stock guy I used to work with. I
All
showed
right.
him a price trap thing on stocks that was just flat out kick ass, just unbelievable. Um, but he still had some worries about pulling the trigger.
Uh,
Oh shit!
well, boy, you took profit.
Yeah, I know, but I meant to move it. I was
Oh,
looking for that longer area. God bless America.
but it's demo. Chill.
But no, I still have to keep that feel like it's live. You know what I
Okay.
mean?
Yeah,
And again, remember I said the three candles dumping a large position, then it turns around. Yeah, and I wanted to ride the 18.
okay. Well, my still in the euro, and that's starting to take
Yeah.
off.
But see, these are trade management mistakes. The one yesterday, moving my stop up, prior to the news, a little bit too far. That was
Mm,
management. I had everything else spot on. You know what I mean? I had this reversal on the pullback. I had it right to the pip, spot on. I had these three guys before this candle finished. I said this is going to be three candles. Someone's dumping a position, and it should turn around. I had everything spot on, but it's the management was where I had uh, an issue.
mhm.
So that's something that I will definitely address next week, and I'll go over that over the weekend and get that sorted out. Because as soon as you find out what you're tripping over, you got to fix it immediately. So as I said, this was the drop, the pullback, and I wouldn't be surprised to see another 30 pip drop. You know, and where are we now on all of that? And look at that, 40 pips.
Yeah.
I
I don't.
mean, I got everything sorted. Oh, you know what? Ooh, don't do it. No, don't chase.
Okay.
I had to catch myself. I don't chase trades.
Sure.
That's it's been a demon of mine that I finally vanquished. But this is the thing when when you have everything figured out, and I said this was the twin tower. You know what I mean? And the next candle should go in our direction. Boom, it did. Then we finally had a drop, and then said, okay, this is where this pullback should stop, and look at it, hit it right smack on the nose. Called the three candle pullback here, the three little guys, someone dumping a position, then it's going to tank. But managing it was where the issue was. So that's why I said it's one of those good news, bad news things. I can see, I know what's going on. It's just the managing of it that I have to sort out, and I will definitely address that and fix that issue. Same thing with that other. What was that? Was that the Euro Aussie from yesterday?
Uh, pound. Let's see. Was it Euro Aussie or the? No, it was the pound cat. I think.
All right, let's take a look at that. Let me see if that was the one where I moved the stop. Yeah, same thing. Had it all laid out. This is where it should go. This was the entry right off the trend line break. I'm below all everything lined up. Just right. Got the twin tower up here as your signal. But I moved my stop. You got me right before the news instead of just leaving it where it was. But yeah, that's in management. And look, it followed
Mm,
everything it should have done. And if I had been one pip higher, but you can't do woulda, shoulda, coulda.
yeah.
You know what I mean? And that happened three other times earlier in the week too. So I see it's the management that I have to kind of get a grip on. Um, let's open this up.
Now, uh, get a second. Can we talk briefly about that? Okay, my pound yen daily is about to trigger, so just kind of wanted to hit you up on the
Pound yen. Hang
info.
on. Pound yen daily.
Yeah.
This has triggered already. Your chart may be different.
Well, actually, here's the deal. It's a pound yen, so my trigger my entry actually isn't until 92.87.
What?
Well, okay, so it's the
Oh,
pound
down
yen.
here.
Yeah. So the pound, it's the pound yen, non-farm payroll coming up. I really didn't want to put it just right below the bottom. I mean, like 5 pips or something.
Wait. Show me exactly where on the chart you put your.
Yeah. Okay. So close to here. It's right about there. Let me see what this is.
And why did you pick that level?
Um, well, all right. This isn't working here. Let me do it. Okay. Uh, Crap! I just want to get rid of this thing now. Okay. So the bottom on this bar is what? 11. 193.11. Now over here, this low is 193.02. So I'm about 10 pips below this daily right here, which is the lowest
Okay, now I understand.
bar on the shelf.
Right.
That's all. And I mean, that's about as far as I want to go. Um, well, I mean, that's about where I figured if it triggers down there, then it's probably going to continue. But number one, I like this. It's kind of railroad tracks. And number two, this is engulfing the day before.
Yeah, and a conditional candle.
And yeah, and a conditional candle.
And it might be a twin tower.
Yeah.
If you look at the highs of the two candles.
Okay.
Put the what do you call it on it? The mouse on it.
Right here.
Yeah, the high of that candle is 241, and what's the high of the day before? 211.
To to
211 is the high. Look down at the bottom. You see the
yeah, I can see it says 21.1. This is 24.1. Oh yeah, so it's only a couple pips. All right.
Right, so it is a twin tower. It's like a 20 pip difference, but on a daily you wouldn't see it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and this is really only 3 pips, which is kind of unusual. I mean, this I'm assuming at the when it broke this high that there was a lot of buy stops sitting there that which they wouldn't have. So, but I mean, that's what these pairs do. So that's why, particularly the pound, that's why I wasn't keen to get in directly underneath the low of this at 93.11. So that's why I'm actually 24 pips below that. Anyways, that was just my thought there. I mean, if it's going to get me in, it's going to get me in where I want it to be in, and not sooner.
Yeah, and you've got a high probability that this candle will follow this one, because it's a twin tower.
Mm-hmm.
So you see this twin tower here, price followed it. Just looking for a couple of others. This one it didn't. That's kind of a rare one. That's a weekend. This could be just dumping on Friday, but this twin tower did follow the long. This twin tower followed the short. So this twin tower followed the long.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, it's a high probability setup. And as I said, I had some success with it with binaries, but I couldn't get paid. So, that was the end of that. All right. What's good thinking on this to go below the low of this? That all makes sense. And if you look out here, you got a couple of things going on. I'll go from that high. Got a little bit of a downtrend, and you've also got this shelf right there. See that? That's the last dominant close up there. So you've got good reason to expect it to fall.
Okay.
So yeah, that's good thinking. It's nothing wrong with that at all. We come back here. All right. So I'm glad I didn't chase this. How far did it go? 14 pips. Okay, I would have had to stop out here at the high anyway. But I had to catch myself because I used to chase all the time. And now this pullback here was about 10 pips. And what was this one? About 16, 15. So that's about right. That's about the end of that if it equaled this one. And you see where this pullback ended was right here at this lone soldier. Let me just pull this down. I just want you to see these patterns are repeatable. Right there at that lone soldier is where this pullback stopped, or at least, we don't know where this candle is going to close, but you see the consistency is the best way to put it.
Yeah, that is pretty good.
Yeah, and it happens over and over and over and over and over. Nothing here still. Big sideways market there. Euro Aussie still in no man's land, bouncing off the 89 and pound CAD. You see the two candle bodies about the same size. Somebody's dumping.
And I bet that's a level too, so then it could be a reversal.
And you see on the pound CAD, you see where this pullback stopped? Right there. Okay, like it doesn't always hit it on the pip. Sometimes it does, but if you target that general area there, from here to about the middle of the candle wick, that's usually pretty accurate. So this tells me, so now thinking ahead of the trade, if I get another pull, if this drops and gives me another pullback, then that next pullback will probably stop right there somewhere. Do you follow me on that? Because that's a new lone soldier here.
Mm-hmm.
So this thing could come down, bounce off the 89, and pull right back into this area, and then give me another drop. So thinking ahead of the trade. And I don't see anything else. This is that would be a decent 1889 short right there. And again, you draw so many trend lines, you could see that this opened on the other side of the trend line. I just want to draw it in just so you don't think I'm just wildly going after it. And now this candle gave us about 24 pips. So if this one gives us somewhere between 10 and 20, that would be a good place to take profit on it. But I'm below the 89, below the 18. We had a pullback, and this bar opened on the other side of that trend line, and the distance down to S1 is about 20 pips, which is quite reasonable. Oh, let me pull my take profit and just bring it right up. And what do I have? A 2-pip spread, so let me put this at 18 pips. All right, and let's go back up here. That's 11, and I'll add 3. I'll make it a 15 pip stop. more than I normally do, but on these these high volatility pairs, that seems to make a bit more sense. So this is going to be a slow grind down. But you understood, I took this trade before the trend line was in, only because I've drawn so many of these trend lines. I can look at the angles on the candle wicks, you know what I mean? And I can see that this would have opened across the trend line break. And targeting down here by S1 is quite reasonable. And I wouldn't be least bit surprised to see it just trail its way down.
Yeah, or not. It almost looks like the euro just made a reversal.
Let's take a look at the euro.
As well as the Aussie.
Well, we'll see. Euro. Oh, let's go to the daily this way. I don't get. Well, your pound yen triggered. It looked like pound yen.
Yeah, I'm about break even now.
You said your what was that? Euro dollar.
Yeah, euro dollar.
Let's go to a 5. Okay, yeah, it's making a pullback, but that should end up here. I'm not sure if my stop is going to cut about halfway. I'll cut it right to there. That's about halfway. Somewhere in there, I would expect it to stop and then reverse. We do have news coming up at 10, but that's quite a ways off yet.
That's CAD news, so it shouldn't really do too much to this.
What are we in? We're in pound. Yeah, so here's the pound. Okay, so we'll just sit on it and see. It's giving us a nice move here. Come on, come on, come the. I hate when it gets. Okay, close order. And you see, we got that 10 I was talking about, which I felt would be, reasonable. Now I got to wait for it to bounce back. I was a little slow. Again, management. Right back to that again. I called everything right. I said if it gets between 10 and 15, I grab a bite, and didn't effectively jump up to manage it the way I should have. But had everything else picked right. No, I'll take the 10. It was actually 11, but let me just mark this because I believe the S1 is a viable, but we're already 3 candles deep. So this may give a little pullback. But again, seeing it ahead of time, thinking it out, measuring what the last candle did, and assuming you'll get that much on the second leg down, third leg down, that whole process works really, really smooth. And now if this comes down here and touches S1 and starts to pull back, I know that the pullback will stop right in here somewhere. Any pullback on this will stop right in there. All right. So we had that bizarre loss on that 17 pip jump in the spread earlier, but we had a couple of trades and we're slowly getting it back. That's why you never panic. It's okay to be frustrated at the, some aspect of the trade, but you never get to like, oh my God. Because if you're just patience, and you'll get it all back. You'll always get it back. So the S1 would have been 18 pips, but I got out with 11 or 10 or whatever it was. So I'm hoping this does go down here and then it gives a pullback, and we'll see if the pullback stops in this general area of this red line here. And I would still be in this trade from before. You remember, this is the one where, it gave me the take profit, but I wanted to make a bigger take profit, but got talking, didn't pay attention. And there's our S1. All right. And there's our 30 pips. Okay. Which is half of this. So if you just think ahead of the trade, remember your price action basics. That's really, really very simple. And this time I managed it correctly. Okay, Nancy was all right, nothing to watch here now because I'm not going to take another short trade, obviously. Oh, here's the pullback right here. This guy. Gee, I made a bit of a tactical error. This little lone soldier right here would be where these guys should pull back. This guy right here. I did this incorrectly. And that remains to be seen. That's still not a given. Let's go back out to the pound yen on this. Nancy posted something. Pound yen daily. Now the other thing here too is on this pound yen, you had this nice trend line break here.
Yeah.
All right, and this would be an aggressive entry off of that, and a butt ugly wedge. But hey, okay, these are the two dominants. You should do okay on this.
Well, we'll see.
Where's your stop?
My stop is it's 194.55.
Now, in generic trend line theory, this should drop to this trend line. On this trend line break, prices tend to go back to the next dominant trend line, and that would be here. So if you were to hold this, you're looking at a possible, I'd say 150 to 200 pip trade, because as these candles form, they go farther this way, so it makes the distance between this trend line and the bottom of the candle shorter. You got me? So
Yeah.
to measure it down here is incorrect, because it'll take a few candles to get over here. So I'm looking more in this area.
I see. Yeah, and well, I actually have two trades, so that I can let them split on their own.
Mm-hmm.
The first one I've got 192.20 is my take profit. That's only 67. But then my next one is a couple hundred pips below that.
All right. Phil, you have any questions or thoughts or anything?
No, I'm good right now.
All right. Nancy, you see that the trend line issue here? And now let me squeeze this in some more just to follow that all the way through. So now, again, under generic trend line theory, thinking about my wife now with the physical therapy. If we go from this trend line to this trend line, if we break this trend line, this would be the next stop. and it would make sense because you've got a couple of taps on it already. See that? And you bring this up, put it right under there.
What about a trend line emanating from over in here? Oh, I don't have control anymore. Oh yeah,
Yes,
okay,
you do.
it's right over here.
Well, that's
And then,
gone. If you draw it, you'll see that that trend line's gone already.
uh, okay, so I'm talking about something about like this.
It ends up being about the same thing. I thought you were talking this one. That's what I thought you were talking about initially.
Oh yeah.
And as you
Anyway.
see, we broke it and we came down and tapped it.
Mhm.
Gave us a hell of a stop loss though. But you see the idea in theory is that it will go to the next lowest trend line.
And I guess actually you want probably the two most recent.
Yeah, correct. That's the Tom DeMark way. And if you took the two most recent, now Tom DeMark calls them supply and demand zones. See, we don't get much of a difference if we take the two most recent supply and demand zones. Because this trend line is based on these two supply and demand zones. And this trend line is based on these supply and demand zones. So it's not much in difference in pips. If we break this, it would go here. And it's something that would be worth watching.
Mm-hmm.
Let's go back here and see if there's anything happening. No, nothing there. Nothing there yet. I need to see some red, and a New Zealand dollar short might not be a bad idea. Let's drop this. Pound Aussie. Okay, that wasn't on our radar. This was a decent one too, but it was in no man's land, so I wouldn't have touched it. The only play here, when you get into like a no man's land situation, would be this price trap. Would be the price trap here. And that's kind of an odd sized candle. All right, so you need a close below the trap, then the retest, and then the short. All right, this would normally be a good short, but because I'm 4 candles deep, I wouldn't jump on it because we may get a pullback. So I'll wait for something better looking. Not to say that this won't go, down, but again, if I'm looking at this, I don't want to go short right at the point where a pullback is likely to occur. I don't mind taking a ride once I'm in a trade, but I don't like to get in a trade and then instantly it starts flying against me. It just upsets my apple cart, for lack of a better technical term. Right, here's that pullback. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4 candles deep, bounced off S1, and this red line here, let me just draw the box in. If this is to pull back, I'm looking at somewhere in here. All right, now when I say somewhere in here, this could go up and spike above this, but close back inside here. You follow what I'm saying?
Mm.
I want to see if this level will hold. So this is a good exercise in watching price action live with thinking ahead of the trade. And I prefer to use that phrase, thinking ahead of the trade, rather than projections or predictions. Sometimes I use projections. All right, Nancy, you're throwing me completely off. Which one are we looking at? NU or EA? I want to answer your questions. It's EA, Euro Aussie, Nancy, on the daily. She was asking about this pound New Zealand here is starting to give us something. But I don't think I have a clean break yet, no. This candle needs to close. We've got the half-ass slingshot here. Keep an eye on that on the next 5. Oh, we got news coming up in a couple of minutes.
CAD news.
Yeah. So let's grab a dollar CAD pair. Oh, we'll do it on the naked chart. Dollar CAD. Where are thou hiding? Okay, let's go down to a 5. Oh, wait. Let me go back to the daily. The daily looks like it's in a price trap. No, not quite. It's making a nice little rounded top here. Okay. Nothing there. No clue on the daily. Let's go to a 4-hour. Nothing there on the 4-hour. We got this range from this high to this low, basically. Nothing's been able to crack these two levels. I'm talking about this low and this high. Nothing's been able to crack it. So you know what? Let me just drop this on a 4-hour chart. Just drop these in so we know that that level's from a 4-hour. And let's go down to a 15. All right, that should be the 4-hour low, I'm guessing. Yeah, that's the 4-hour low. So we're caught inside this 4-hour box, and you can see how prices have all stayed in there for the most part on the CAD. All right, so now we'll go down to a 5-minute CAD, and it looks like it wants to head back down to this lower level. If inside this range, it's making a downtrend. So it appears to want to go back down here. All right, if we get a pullback here, the pullback here should stop right up in this general area here. We got a bunch of little wicks there. And okay, we got a possible trigger here on this short on New Zealand dollar. 3 pip spread. I'll leave it at a half a lot. See if we get a couple of pips before the news cracks. So this is what I'm seeing on this CAD. I'm not sure what is the CAD news red?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's the IBPMI. So it could be a mover.
All right.
In this case, it's okay for me to say I don't know.
Yeah, it's always a good thing. Then you try to find out. If you don't know, try to find out.
I said that yesterday on something. I don't know what's going to happen here, but
Well, yeah, when you're looking at a trade and you say I don't know, then you need to find a chart that you can look at and say I know what this chart is doing.
okay.
You got what I'm saying?
Sure.
Let's see if I think this may hit this daily pivot here. How far down is that? It's about 8 pips or so. Let me close this. We'll keep the CAD up here so we can look at it as news approaches. And this didn't give us a pullback yet. This was the area I figured for the pullback, but that didn't, never went that far back. I don't know what this line is here. Oh, that's why I exited the trade earlier. at the 10 or 11 pips. That's what that was.
Oh yeah, that was based on a projection.
Yeah, I expected the S1, but I said if I get between 10 and 15, I'll grab it, and I took like 11 out of it. So this was a generic 1889 setup. We're below the 18, below the 89. We've got the slingshot candle here, closer to its low than it did to its middle, which generally means the next candle should go in the direction of the wick, which it did.
Now,
And
could you also call that an 1889? I mean, excuse me, a twin tower?
yes,
Okay.
yeah, I
And
mentioned that. Yeah.
all right.
Well, I for this particular type of candle, I was searching for a name, and I call them slingshots
Sure. Yeah.
because a twin tower doesn't necessarily have to be a slingshot. You get me? The slingshot is the one that closes closer to its low or high than it does to its middle.
Hmm.
That particular candle setup I came up with the name slingshot because it's like you're pulling the thing back all the way and then letting it go, and then momentum keeps it moving in that direction. Let's come back to the CAD. Stretch this out a little bit. And we've got a bit of a price trap here. This 5-minute candle's not closed yet. And how far are we from the news? Like 3 minutes? What time is it?
5 minutes.
Oh, 5 minutes. So we got another candle yet. Let me put a take profit in here. It's at 7 pips and 2. I'll leave it. 7 pips and 2 will give us the pivot. And then put a stop up here. 7 pips plus 2 is 9. I'll make it a 10 pip stop. So we're starting to get looks like a pullback, but a few minutes before news, I don't expect this to go that far up. What's going on with this? This gave us a few more pips after our exit. Another 13. That was nice. Let's close this. We had a nice little price trap here. And this is pound Aussie. I'm not going to chase that. That's should hold up right there. This should go to S1. Oh, Nancy was asking about the Euro Aussie, a trend line on Euro Aussie. Euro Aussie daily. Got piano keys here. That's a good sign.
That's the dollar CAD still.
Yeah. Well, this is the one you said there was CAD news. So I just wanted to get a peek at it before the news.
Oh, I thought you were going to Euro Aussie.
No, I am. I am.
Okay.
Euro Aussie daily, and yeah, I don't know what trend line she's speaking of. I'm guessing this. Well, these would be the two most recent supply and demand zones. Those are the last two fractals. Is that what you're talking about, Nancy? She may not. I don't see her mic as being on.
Uh, yeah, she said that she was talking about the dojis though.
Oh, here. Well, these
Yeah,
dojis are warning candles because the body of these candles are inside this wick for the most part. And that's what we call a warning candle, Nancy. Not daily EA, but 5 minute. Okay. Oh, you want the daily or the 5 minute, Nancy? I'm trying to read the text here.
M5.
M5. Okay, so we're on the M5, and these would be warnings for a short, Nancy, because they're warning bars because the body of this candle is inside the wick of this prior candle.
Okay,
yeah,
one.
Does that answer your question, Nancy?
I think she's saying, all right, so even the dojis are not enough clue because you're in no man's land at those dojis. Those dojis are in between the 89 and 18.
Oh. Yeah, well, that is enough of a clue here. But if you look at the 1889, you can certainly take it if you put your trend line up here. You see that across these two candles, Nan? And you get the close on the other side. Yeah, with the warning candles. Yes, absolutely. You could have gone short there. But that's understanding price action and adding it to what you're doing with the 1889. So
And
normally
the
if I,
CAD news just popped.
oh, let me go back to the CAD. Get out of there, Jing. I don't want you now. Um,
Came out slightly better than expected.
okay, so the dollar should fall a bit. Let's take a look at this. I may have to bail out of this if that's the case. Because if the dollar is going to be weaker based on that CAD, then this could drive this up a little bit. That's not moving at all, or am I frozen? Oh, there it goes. Okay.
Yeah, it's just slow moving.
Yeah, so those warning candles, Nancy, on that particular setup, yes, you would have done that. But if normally when I'm showing someone the 1889, I don't get into the whole warning candles thing because or some of the other candle formations because it can complicate it. And I usually like them just to get the idea of the 1889, and then we add the tweaks later. But that's good eyes, good observation. Yeah, I guess they're just not excited about this news at all. All right, now it's starting to move. So you know what? I'm going to close this because that's going to just. Let me see if it takes that high. I'll give it 10. See what happens. And this time I'm glad I put my stop out a hair wider with the spread. Is that the only CAD news in that
Yep.
bundle? Sometimes they have like a couple of different announcements together.
Yep.
All right, so then they're not going to be looking for revisions or anything. And I need to see what the wages number were on the non-farms also. Did wages go up or down or whatever? That's kind of important. And close this. Didn't hit the 10, so no need to panic. Yeah, for that was a red news.
Yeah.
That's a surprise. Well, as I say, sometimes the color of the news for that day doesn't mean it's going to behave that way.
Okay. Wage growth is to be installed. So, okay, it says wage growth is stalled.
Okay, so that could create some dollar weakness then later on in the early part of next week, because the Fed wants to see, well, they're going to make their decision. It's going to be a data-based, data-driven decision, and one of the key factors they're looking at is wage growth. If wages aren't moving, then they won't change the rate. They're targeting September, but that doesn't necessarily mean it has to happen in September.
So how come when you say stuff like that, the markets don't move, but some yahoo who's just a blowhard says that and markets go crazy?
Because of the Yahoo effect.
Okay.
It's that
Good answer.
it's in the fine print in their MBAs.
Yeah.
All right, let's see what happens if I'm going to close this New Zealand dollar. And this gave us a bit of a slingshot here, but that remains to be seen yet. Other thing too, with Friday, everyone's going to be bailing out of positions later on.
So,
Well, again, if this slingshot is going to be what we think, this next candle should go a pip or two long, or close longer, I should say. Nancy's saying, why not have stop loss above MA? On which chart, Nancy? Why not New Zealand dollar? Because it would be a slightly larger stop loss, and I'm just ferociously cheap. And in traditional trading, what you would be traditionally taught, yes, a stop above that moving average is where they usually tell you to put your stops. So in that case, you're 100% right. I tend to not do that, but that is the correct, well, I won't say the correct way, that is the traditional way that you're often taught about placing stops above moving averages or above prior highs and lows, that sort of thing. and I prefer to do more price action reading and try to work with that. So it's a personal thing with me, because it will be in confluence with the back of the trend line. Um, Back of what trend line? Oh, I see what you mean. Yes, it sure would, Nancy. And what Nancy's saying is if my stop were up above, let me open this up. She's saying if my stop were up above this 89, it would also tie in nicely with this trend line. So the two of them could, I guess, act as a barrier. But I don't know how many other people are looking at that exact combination of an 89 moving average and a trend line break. So I don't know if that, how much that holds, but I see exactly what you're talking about. But again, I am just notoriously cheap with my stops. And sometimes it costs me, but other times it pays out quite well. That's why I always try to preface that you don't necessarily have to copy how I do my stops and everything, because they do tend to be tight. And you've seen the evidence of getting popped a couple of times, even though I had all the analysis spot on. But it's a price that I personally am comfortable with paying. Now, times like this is why I'll have like Earl Nightingale or Zig Ziglar or Brett Steenbarger or some other audio or something playing in the background when I'm, working by myself.
So if this Kiwi 5-minute bar closes right, something like this, then you're still in, right?
Let me give you control again. Oh, you have it already. Yeah, go ahead. Take the mouse.
Yeah. Okay. So we have a new bar now in the Kiwi right down here.
Mm-hmm.
You are going to close only if you get a close above this bar right here.
Well, the close above the bar or price above the bar would have been 10 pips, and I would have closed it there manually.
Would have been 10 pips. Oh, negative.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Okay.
So that's how I'm looking to manage that. I'll give it, 10 pips. And it's Friday and blah, blah, blah. And we had a couple of good trades and all that. And this was a good setup. So I still have some faith in the setup.
Okay.
And the pullback stopped right at this guy right in here. The little 2-man shelf here, which is, pretty normal place for a pullback to stop, but we'll see. And we had this news come out. News can always make things happen differently. So this slingshot candle didn't play out. This one.
Yeah.
And this is just a slow and agonizing, I take that back. It's the slow and kind of boring aspect of all this. We'll get ready to close this if he gets to that 10. And that may be making a price trap. That NU. If this current candle closes inside that green guy right here, that would mean we have a price trap. But we'll see. But I'm not going to goof up the management again.
Right. When you're in a managed free zone for a minute, there's a dollar yen trade, daily trade that I'm in also. Just wanted to
Dollar yen daily?
Yeah, I just wanted to query you about that.
Okay. I'm going to keep this closed order box open and just slide it to another screen.
Sure.
And I have to find those floating charts for MT4 and get that set up. You said what pair was that again?
Dollar yen.
Dollar yen daily, and I guess this was the high here.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, well
So
this is a perfect one. This doji from yesterday. I'm
yeah,
spinning top rather.
right. And it
That
did trigger. I'm in that one.
all right. So
Um,
you took a little heat. Now you're should be on
well,
the way
actually,
back up.
this all happened before NFP. All this down here. See?
Oh wait. Do the mouse so I can see what you're talking about.
Yeah. Okay. Right here.
Oh,
See,
that happened before NFP. Okay, I got you.
it
I got you.
happened before NFP, so there was no heat involved. And
Oh,
then after NFP or sometime that around then, it went up, took me in. Now there's pullback. But as far as I'm concerned, this this bar right here, which is right now a doji, shouldn't have any effect on me wanting to stay in or get out of the trade, right?
no,
Yeah.
not at
Okay,
all.
that was
Where's your stop?
let's see. My stop on this one is 124.45. Let's see. 124.
Just
Right
put a
about.
horizontal line and change your properties.
Yeah.
Daryl?
All right. Well, since you
No, no,
don't
no,
have.
no. This line.
Oh, okay. That one. All right.
Right. Then double click and
Okay. Yeah.
then properties and then type the price in here.
Okay.
Type in
Oops.
your stop.
Okay. Right there.
Okay. Yes, that's good. What made you pick that area?
Uh, well, I saw this candle. I thought, well, that's still a little bit high. Then we got this back over here, so that's kind of what influenced me. And then as you go through here, this looks like kind of a bit of a zone here where it's either above or below,
Hmm.
and not too much, uh, not too much above yet. So, anyways, that's all.
Okay. But that should work out. But now it's Friday, so again, everyone's going to be closing positions and kind of jockeying for the weekend.
Yeah,
So this could, create a bit of a deficit before it's all done. But the idea, the thinking is good.
and your New Zealand dollar trade was actually in profit for a minute.
Oh, was it? Oh, okay.
It's like it's almost
Oh, it's actually pretty good. We're back to the spread basically,
yeah.
and it was teetering with my 10 pip manual bail, but it never hit it. But like I said, I'm not going to mess up the management because I did it on a couple of trades. So now I got to zero in and focus on managing the trade with the same sort of diligence that I analyze the trade, and get the combination of the two working together makes for a good run.
Mhm.
And this is how you fix stuff. So I know my analysis is fine, but I just wasn't, doing the management thing the right way. Let's just go back to this. Okay, again, it's Friday. This is going to be a slow crawl no matter what it does.
Sure.
And let me see, in order for this to be my stop, I got to come up 3 pips. Oh shit, I got it in the right spot. I would like to make this the stop, but I need to add 3 pips for the spread, and I did that already, so not much there to move. But I would like to see me get a couple of pips in profit, and then I'll slide this stop up. But I have my close order button open for a manual 10 pip. And this is a price trap now, which I mentioned earlier. That candle closed inside. See that? That's where we are now. So close below. How wide is this? With 5 and 3 would be an 8 pip stop. Puts me right the fuck back where I started. Excuse my aborigine. So adding into this wouldn't provide any benefit if we got to close below that price trap. Everybody understand the thinking process I used on these last few trades? Any questions or something that's other than what I've been talking about? This thing kept going. Made a nice price trap. A little piano key here and a break. Let's get rid of this. That was my 10 pip exit. Okay, that's cool. Okay. And I just can't make the candles move any faster than they want to move.
Mm.
That's the only awkward part. But this is starting to come in our direction now, and we've got our like 2 pips above the pivot. Pivot would be a natural spot. It's kind of one of those magnetic spots on the chart. And I didn't get into numbers trading either. I spoke about the psychological numbers, but I wanted to talk a bit more on that also.
Oh, like 00 and stuff.
Yeah, like usually if price goes above the 80, it's going to go to the next nearest 00. That doesn't always have to be the 100, but it could be the last 2 digits could be 80, but it's going to go to the next 00. So it may only be 2 or 3 pips in some cases, or 20 or 30 pips in other cases, depending on what time frame you're on. You get me? Kind of a normal thing, and same thing with 75s. And but that's something we need to do with just numbers and nothing else. Numbers and naked charts.
You did cover that a little bit one day.
Yeah. Because normally when you get that close to a double, there's somebody in the market's going to push it to that 00. So we got our close below our price trap here. Now we're going to see about the retest of the bottom of the box. Let's put a line in here and see what happens. Now this could go up quite a bit, then come right back down and make a tall wick. I'm running a little bit late, but I gave myself, it's almost 10:30 already. Damn. I gave myself till 10:30. I didn't think it was going to roll up this quick. But you see, like between 8:30 and 10, you can actually make pretty good pips on a consistent basis. And usually between 7 and 8:30, you can catch a couple of moves also. But I generally don't. I'm busy doing breakfast and all that. I've got like a routine I have to maintain for my wife. So we see we spiked through the bottom of the box, and as we suspected, this candle could come back, leave a wick, and close back below the bottom of the box. So this could be a retest, but let's see where it closes. I got to get a haircut too today.
Which one?
I think I'm going to get them all cut this time. I had one cut before, and I didn't see much of a general difference. So I figured, you know what? Cut all of them just a little bit. Then it looked good. Nancy, did I answer your question about the confluence with the stop above the moving average? Okay, doke. There's no 10:30 news or anything, right? Oh, let me get this ready. Yeah, it could be a fake out. Let's see what the euro. Let me just squeeze this down. I can watch it down here. Let's see what the pound dollar is doing. It's a little bit of a pullback here on the dollar. So that's a dollar move there. That's dollar strength coming back into the market here. Probably based on some stock market stuff. Did you see the debates last night?
No.
It was a waste of time. Nobody would answer a straight question with a straight answer.
So they all got -2s?
Yeah, well, I use that Cooper scale, and the bottom of the barrel was Donald Trump and Paul Rand, rather, not
Rand Paul?
Rand Paul, yeah. They were the absolute rock bottom because every question they asked him, they went right to talking points. Didn't even try to address the question. The best was Rubio, um, uh, Bush, and the doctor, um, Carter. Like if someone asked them a specific question, they first answered that question and then went to a few talking points. So they get 1 point for that. But Trump was right at the bottom of the barrel. He kept going back to the same stuff. No matter what they asked him, he says, "We're losing with China. We're losing with Japan." And they said, "But yeah, I didn't ask you about that. I asked you about what you said about women, kind of thing." So okay, so I managed that trade the way I wanted to. Not thrilled with taking the the hit, but my goal is to actually say I'm going to manage it a certain way and do it. Yes, it was just a big waste of time. The debate prior to that was pretty good. Okay, so I guess I'm going to wrap this up for today. We had some up, some down. I just wanted to get just the exercise of it in my brain. But next week is really going to be a focus on trading because I need to put some money back in my account, and I may have to take the following week off to do a whole host of things. So that's going to be the focus for next week is really the live trading, and I'm not going to stick with any one particular system. I'm just going to trade what I see on the chart. All right, just so everybody knows. So it should be easy enough to keep up with. I'm not going to trade anything that we haven't gone over. All right, and we'll pick it up from there.
Will think you'll get this one posted in the next couple of days?
What, this recording?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll have this posted by in about an hour or so. I'm just going to make it a habit of doing it as soon as the thing is done. All right?
All right, thank you, Luke.
All right, I will talk with you guys later.
All right, thanks a lot, Lou.
Yep, be well.